We're also live on YouTube at BWAAAKOTH.
Forgot the blue part. We say it 3 more times. There it is. Thank you.
At BWAAA, that's 3 A's, iterate 3 A's, KOTH.
You messing with the one more? Yes, you are, right? Oh, that's good. Yes. Cool.
You can find us on all social medias at BWAAAKOTH except for Snapchat.
We got it.
We're not on Snapchat.
Except we got it.
Yeah, all Snapchat is OnlyFans girls trying to sell nudes.
I'll come up there.
BWAAAKOTH. You should be up here. We should have a longer table with a third mic. It's been a while since you've actually been on a show. People ask me in my DMs about Mason. I want you to know that you are a part of the show. People like, what happens? Because there's like people that have just started listening. So they've got to where you joined us, and then when you dropped off and haven't been like, because you used to talk every episode almost.
All right, if this gets me, I might pop in on this.
You've been with us since what, season 2 now, I think?
Yeah.
Season 2, like beginning or middle of season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I told Mike I could start the podcast anytime too.
Yeah, that's an open invitation as well to y'all. Anybody that wants me on their podcast, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So it'd be great to be on y'all's podcasts. I know a little bit about true crime, and I know about music too. True crime, I actually know Kenneth McDuff's niece.
Oh, well.
I'm actually friends with the McDuff family. They're not McDuffs anymore. They changed their name to Royals. Fun fact. Yeah, after the Kenneth McDuff incident, they all changed their names.
All right, it's going. Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Whoa! Yeah. Woo!
Yeah. Woo. Into some house lights, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that? Am I there?
There he is.
There.
Hank Hell himself.
Okay,
Hank Hill.
so yeah, this will make itself known here in a minute, but
We promise any noise is not piped in later.
yeah. So welcome to Bwaaa, King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike. This is
And I'm Rusty. Yeah, believe it or not.
Rusty. So we are in. Let me check my watch. October.
It is October.
Today is, we're getting close to spooky time.
We are
right?
we're not just close to spooky time. I like to think that this entire month is a spooky month. I spend the whole month being spooked.
Yeah.
I like to watch horror movies around this time. Campy slashers.
I don't like the fact that they can't see me too.
Yeah, I really don't like
I made
that
a big
either.
effort here, Rusty. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Let me
very much.
move my
Appreciate
drink.
that. Yeah, I want to make sure that everybody can see.
Yeah, I want everybody to see too.
Yeah, I want everybody to see the fall
There we go.
of Mike Hamilton. So,
Fall with Mike Hamilton.
yeah, this
We're in a
is
very
it.
conservative
This is
town.
pretty much the bottom.
It's pretty.
All right, so
it's pretty
since
scandalous.
it's spooky season, I think you and I are up to like season 6, episode
Close to the end.
12,
We're
15, something like that. Right?
Further than that, we are on the last 3 episodes of season 6.
Okay.
Which, in our little niche world of King of the Hill podcasts,
Yeah.
we are the #1 King of the Hill podcast in the world, and we are also the furthest along in the show that anybody has done, except for one other guy, but he just
dead.
he speed runned it, so I don't think it counts.
Well, they were doing like 2 or 3 at a time, right, per episode.
They were doing 2, I think, an episode, and they're putting out so they're doing 2, so they're putting out double what we were putting out then, because we're only doing 4 a month.
The biggest issue with this is I can't hear.
You can't
what's
hear.
going on there. But
There
if
we
I
go.
do that, then I get these like.
You need to put some listening devices on the horns.
Yeah, I need something.
Yeah, there you go.
So what I'm saying is we're pretty far into this thing. We 13 seasons, right?
There's 13 seasons, we're on
13
season
total.
6, and we're on our 3rd year of podcasting
Yeah.
together.
But what I was going to say is, since it's October, I decided that we would go back to season 2, episode 4.
Which is a Halloween-themed episode.
It is literally called Halloween.
Halloween.
This episode aired October 26, 1997. So, been a while.
A long while,
Yeah.
almost.
And
I wouldn't
we-
say a long while, but a long while.
We covered this, this has to be, what,
2
years ago?
Yeah, I
Something
mean,
like
if it's
that?
season 2,
Yeah.
that would have been like midway through a year.
But, I was looking for episodes that would go into the spooky season, right? And there are literally only 2 Halloween episodes.
There's not very
of
many.
King of the
Well,
Hill.
there's some that you could call spooky. Maybe that cult episode that we just covered.
Yeah, the cult episode, but
That's
the
kinda-
other one is the
kinda
Pygmalion,
creepy.
right?
Pygmalion
Yeah.
is not only one of the spookier ones, but it's like one of the most controversial, like,
Well, that's the
King
one
of
that
the
they
Hill
won't show.
episodes ever.
Like, they won't show it anywhere, right? And
They do on Adult Swim, but anywhere else it's in syndication. Like I think it's on syndication in TBS or something like that.
Yeah.
But they don't. That episode just generally isn't.
Yeah, and
aired a lot.
we'll say that again, Mason. Yes, they did
Yeah,
that.
they did it
And
again.
Mason out in the audience there.
Mason.
joining us, producer Mason. So,
It's BE 506's birthday. Happy birthday,
hey,
BE
happy
506 in the live chat.
birthday.
Awesome.
Who you are?
You guys want to put a hold real quick?
Say it one more time.
Want to put a hold for a second?
Yeah.
Sure.
So this came out on October 6th, 1997.
26.
October 26th, 1997.
Yep.
A month old.
Oh,
wow.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Okay, so let's get this sucker started. So basically, Hank is excited about Halloween until somebody complains, and they cancel the holiday for the most
They
part,
did.
right? This is like-
Evangelicals.
it's the city council, that ends up giving into it. So the way this sucker starts, it starts on Tuesday, October 28th. Started at the Hill House. It's funny to me that it's the Hill House. Like, it
The
just seems
Hill
kind of
House.
spooky to me.
Hell House.
But Hank is
The Hills Hell House.
the Hills Hell House.
There you go.
Hank is drawing a chalk outline around Dale on the garage floor,
Mm-hmm.
and the issue he has is he's coming all the way around him, and when he gets to the cigarette that Dale has in his mouth, he outlines that as well.
He
right?
does.
So we
You can't
get,
outline Dale without outlining the cigarette.
Sure.
Probably the hat too.
Yeah, we get, okay, Dale, hop on up. I don't know, it looks like he's dead with his tongue sticking out. And so you see the outline, and where the cigarette's at, it does kind of look
Yeah.
like his things. And then we come back and we look at all 3 of these guys standing around looking at this, and Bill has the fake hatchet in his head.
Yeah.
Lots of blood coming down the
Spirit of
face.
Halloween.
Yeah,
999.
I'm sure that, I don't even know if those, do you think those were around?
I don't know if they were around at that time. I don't remember a Spirit of Halloween in 1997.
Spirit
but I mean,
stores?
it might have been, yeah.
Yeah,
It might have
maybe.
been. Artie can check that fact for us. Come
Yeah,
on, fact
check it,
checker.
Artie. By the way, anybody that doesn't know, Artie is our resident fact checker.
Yeah, he's pretty
is
much been
in,
with us. He's been with us
there he
since
is
like
right there. He's in Florida.
he's in Florida now.
Yeah.
When we first met him, I think he was
He was in New York.
he was in New York, yeah,
Yeah.
and then he moved to Florida.
He's
But,
just a great guy that does all our fact checking
yeah.
for us.
He's been attached to our show since like season 1 ish,
Which, if you
somewhere in the season
know anything
1.
about this, it will take a lot of fact checking. So Dale says, "Well, let me try again. I can look deader." And Boomhauer says, "No way, man. Dead is dead. He's getting old. Sit up here." He is hanging from the ceiling in the garage because they're trying out like a hanging noose.
Yeah.
Because they're building all this scary stuff. And come to find out, what they're basically building all this stuff for is Tom Landry Middle School.
Tom Landry Middle School. They're
Right.
doing like the, I don't know if anybody's school ever did one. Ours did, but they had like the haunted hallway thing. And that's kind of what they're gearing up for.
Haunted hallways. We've got those.
Did y'all do those? Did y'all do those in school?
Again,
You went to a Christian
I went
school.
to a Christian school
I
and got
forget.
kicked out twice, so we didn't do anything. Boomhauer, he's griping about being up on the harness there. Hank says, "Well, it's a small price to pay, Boomhauer. I'm the general contractor of the school's haunted house, and it's my responsibility to bring the job in on time, under budget, and over scary." Bill says, "It's the darndest thing. I got a wedgie too." Because Boomhauer's griping about the wedgie he got, right? He's up
Yeah,
on
because
the
he's
thing.
doing the Mission Impossible.
Yeah. So they
swing
wince him
around.
down, and in the background we hear Peggy say, "Hey, dinner time! I'm stirring in the cheese powder." So we already know, what kind of meal we're talking about here. I wouldn't say Peggy's a great cook.
I don't know if Peggy could make a roux. Do you think she knows how to make a roux?
No,
Does she even know what, she probably thinks you're talking about the kangaroo.
I will say this though, you know, as much as we talk about Peggy and give her shit, she says one of the things in this that I think is the greatest thing she's ever seen, ever said as far as this show
You think
goes.
so?
Yeah, here in just a little bit. When she gets pissed off
I got a quick fun
at
fact though,
Luann,
before we make it to her. So,
Yeah, it needs to be
Sally
quick and
Field
fun.
is actually one of the voices
Sally
of the show.
Field is the one doing,
The
what's her name?
evangelical.
Yeah, the
Yeah, Junie
evangelical
Harper.
lady, Junie Harper, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Hank gets a bright idea and he thinks he's going to scare Peggy. So he's like, "Oh, hey, Peg Leg, can you come out here and give me a hand?" All the guys kind of hide to scare her. She comes out. She goes, "What is it, honey?" I'm right. Ah! And then she sees a big witch, right? Because
Yep.
they have a witch come out at her. Hank says, "Gotcha." She goes, "Oh, you, that just took a year off my life, I think. So I'm going to scare the pants off those kids, I'll tell you what. I want Bobby to have the perfect Halloween, the kind that I had when I was a boy." Which, I mean, that's
Yeah.
great.
Well,
Right?
our fact checker got our fact in pretty quick here. So
Yeah.
he says Spirit of Halloween stores were founded in 1983. So yeah, there would have been the potential.
That's
Did you
great.
see that they're expanding? It's no longer Spirit of Halloween, it's Spirit of Halloween and Christmas.
Oh.
So they're
very nice.
extending into
Yeah,
the Christmas
that's great.
season now. But
that
what?
means,
So are they we're gonna start dressing up and knocking on people's doors around Christmas?
well, I'm just
time?
saying that means abandoned Toys R Us everywhere get a couple extra months, right?
I guess so.
So
Yeah.
when he says that he wants it like when he was a boy, we get a flashback to Hank dressed much like this.
Yeah, he's actually
Little devil
it's
costume.
it's almost uncanny
So this is
how
it's
the resemblance is, except for
Yeah.
Hank doesn't have a
shaved.
beard.
Yeah,
You have the
got
same like
yeah.
horn rimmed glasses, that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
what I was shooting for. So he's got the little devil pitchfork, and you
Yep.
got the other three guys. Dale's dressed up like a hippie, of
Regular hair
course,
raisers.
which is crazy to me because he becomes the antithesis of
Yeah,
a
he's,
hippie.
he's not a hippie.
Boomhauer is a ghost in a sheet, but it kind of reminds me of like Peanuts because it's got flowers all over it.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But he's still a ghost. Can we turn this one up just a tad? Thank you so much. I'm only good tad. All right, so and then you've got Bill, who's dressed up like a convict for some reason.
I'm not sure what that's all
where that
about,
came from.
honestly,
He's got
yeah.
the black and gray stripes all over it. You know?
Yep, the traditional,
Yeah,
the
traditional.
old school jail jumpsuits.
Old
Most of the
school,
days you see them in
Making big rocks
in
into little
orange.
rocks, all of
They
that
look
kind
like
of
oranges
stuff,
now.
right? So they go up to this lady's house, and it's like, "Oh, trick or treat." They all say trick or treat. Lady comes out, and by the way, we do have kind of a Peanuts type music playing in the background. You know, that
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
whatever it is.
You just wait
I
for somebody
can't even
to
get close to that.
try to kick a football.
Yeah. And so the lady answers the door. "Oh my, aren't you the scariest boys?" And Boomhauer, "Yeah, man, talk about thing on boom, man." And then, of course, Dale asks if she has any candy cigarettes. She says no, but I have chocolate. And I don't really understand this part because they get really pissed off that they only get one bar of chocolate,
Yeah.
but they're the full-size Hershey bars.
Well, that's the thing with the candy
What else do you
cigarettes
want?
too. You know, there was like, do you remember the gum? Because you have the candy cigarettes, which was like the white chalky
Did candy cigarettes turn into gum at some point?
No. They had these ones that were cigarette shaped, but it was gum, and you could blow into it, and it had like powder in it. It would blow like a
No.
powder out.
Sounds like you're trying to assess.
I think what ended up happening with those is the FDA said these are too close to.
I think it was
like,
the FDA.
I don't know, because it's a gum and you're blowing smoke out. It simulates. It's more simulated
I just
smoking.
figured it was a big cigarette. and
They
didn't want
banned
the
simulated smoking. I think that's what it was.
So they're bitching about the fact that it's only one. They only got one, but that's not. I mean,
That's
you
something.
know,
I guess it's more
keep
than
going.
zero.
But they say, you know, there's only one, and then Hank's like. The next thing we see is they're throwing eggs at a house, and they're
Yeah.
toilet paper in it, and then they knock down a mailbox, but the mailbox says Hill on the side of it.
They hit their own mailbox.
Yeah, he hits his own mailbox and he says, "All right, now let's go to Dale's house," which is just insane. I don't understand why they're knocking.
Well,
up
think
their own
about
crap.
it. What do they like to do? They like projects.
Nah,
So what they'll
true.
do is they want to
They're
relive.
kids.
Well, they're reliving their childhood by knocking mailboxes off. So they're just going to knock their own mailboxes, and then it gives them all a project to work on together after that.
I guess.
Bonding, mail bonding.
It goes back to the current day, and he just says, Hank says, "Oh, I think I'll go call my mom," because I guess he feels a little bit of
Nostalgic.
Yeah, I don't know, something. All right, so Peggy walks by and she sees Luann. Peggy is headed to Megalomart
And
because of the big Halloween sale. Apparently, there's a big run on Halloween things at the Megalomart.
with Chuck Mangione dressed like Satan.
She comes by and she sees Luann in the bathroom, and she's doing her hair and her makeup and stuff. And she goes, "Hey, you want to come with us? Megalomart is running a Halloween special. If you buy 2 rubber masks, they'll punch the nostril holes out for free." Which is insane to me. I've never bought a mask that didn't have nostril holes. And Luann says, "Sorry, I got to go to my youth fellowship meeting. We're going to deliver a hot meal to old people and then blow on it." I just absolutely love that line. Now, we go to the Megalomart, and they are shopping, and the thing that struck me about these is the costumes are all those in the cellophane boxes. You guys, I know Casey remembers it, but like they used to sell the costumes in these cellophane boxes. You know, had the cellophane on the front of it, and then like the costume was made out of flammable material.
Yeah, like you're wearing right now,
and
you
then-
go up in a poof of
Well,
smoke.
it was worse than
Was
this.
it the 50s or the 60s?
Yeah, 50s. Thank you, Mason. Appreciate that. And so anyway, they're looking through all the stuff, and Bobby says maybe I can be a Dalmatian, which I mean I never wanted to be a Dalmatian for Halloween, but I guess that's a
Well, you gotta
perfectly
think,
good costume.
I could probably be fact checked on this, but I'm pretty sure this is about the time where the 101 Dalmatians and stuff was, all those movies
think
were
it's
coming
right?
out. Yeah, around that time maybe. If not, if not the first one, at least like the direct-to-DVD third one.
So he says maybe I can be a Dalmatian. And Hank says Halloween costumes are supposed to be scary. How's a Dalmatian scary? He goes, oh, they can bite you.
They actually are scary. You know when they go senile, they get real violent. Like those, like Dalmatians are a bad dog to own. Yeah, they say they're a real bad dog to own because when they get like for kids, because once they get older, they get real they go blind real easy, and then once they go blind,
they go deaf.
and then that makes
They're such
sometimes
pure breeds.
big dogs as big as they are, they get a little violent.
You think so?
I mean, if you were blind to death, would you be violent?
I think it'd be pretty docile.
Okay.
Peggy says, and 9 times out of 10, they go right for the groin. So that's a good point. Hank says, where are the vampires, monsters, ghosts, Elmo, Aladdin, Jenny McCarthy? Boy, that tells you exactly
Jenny
what
McCarthy,
time
yeah.
in the world.
Did she marry
it was.
Jim Carrey?
I don't know.
And then she went on like a big old anti-vaxxer thing?
He goes, I don't even know what these things are. So now we go over to the community center, and there is a youth fellowship going on right now. This is the one that Luann was going to.
Yeah.
The youth minister says, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. She's a new member of our church who's made herself very known in a short time through a series of gutsy letters, complaints, and threats. Miss Junie Harper.
Miss
So he introduces
Junie
Junie Harper, and Junie
Which
Harper
is
is the one that's done
voiced by Sally Field. Yeah,
Field.
she's voiced by Sally Field.
Yeah, she's holding her Bible and it's super close to her.
Yeah,
right?
she loves her Bible.
Yeah,
She has a personal relationship with God.
she loves something. But she's holding that Bible real close, and she says, thank you, why don't we just start things off with a little quiz? Luann, of course, is like, I hope it's open Bible. She says, can you tell me what this is? She holds up a picture of a witch, and Luann, of course, it's a witch.
It's a witch.
She goes, oh, very good, what's your name? She goes, hello, Luann Platter. She goes, Luann, you answered that so fast. Do you know any witches yourself? She goes, the witches aren't real. She said, yes, they are. They even have their own holiday. Who knows what October holiday is associated with witches, goblins, and Satanists? Everybody in the room raises their hand. She points
Easter.
she points to Luann and she says, Halloween? She
Oh,
goes,
Halloween. I got
smart
that
little
wrong,
girl,
sorry.
smart girl. Oh, thank you for noticing. So we go back into the line at the Megalomart. We got Bobby, we got Hank and Peggy all standing there in line, ready for to check out. And what floors me about this is there are 9,000 people in the Megalomart. The lines are so long.
Yeah, it's
and
packed out.
Just Halloween.
It's just
Which I don't
Halloween
really
and it's packed
understand.
out. Yeah, it's kind of an odd holiday for the store to be
Yeah, you wouldn't think it'd be packed.
2 for 1
I guess, with nose holes.
on the whole store. 2 for 1, the whole store.
There's sales, early sales on Thanksgiving stuff.
That could be that very
There
much.
you
Yeah,
go.
it's all
Some
corn
early
pop
Thanksgiving
sales.
sales, yeah.
Peggy says, well, we still need a costume for Bobby, but at least we got our treats. Hank starts looking through the basket and he's like, Eat Wells, sugar-free, low-fat fun bars. Peggy, this stuff isn't for trick-or-treaters, it's for diabetics. She goes, I'm not going to gain 10 pounds like I did last year. Bobby snaps pretty quickly and goes, so don't eat it, just leave it there. No one said you could touch my candy anyway. So now we go over to a picture of the Druids. The Druids around
Druids.
Stonehenge, which
Yeah.
threw me a little bit. But this is still Judy Harper. She says, the ancient Druids celebrated Halloween by eating babies in the light of their jack-o'-lanterns, and then they danced.
You know, I'll go ahead and interject real fast. I got a fun fact. So
You got
jack-o'-lanterns.
the Druids?
No, it's about jack-o'-lanterns more than that. It was actually turnips. If you go and like Google like jack-o'-lanterns, the first one they used to Sam Hain, the Irish thing where a lot of Halloween comes from. They actually used like turnips, and they would carve the faces into turnips, which is infinitely scarier than carving into a pumpkin. If you go look those up, it's just absolutely
Agreed.
terrifying.
I've always been.
Yeah. The turnips. Yeah.
Luann just like, oh, you know, she's very taken back like this, and she's taking notes, just furiously taking.
She's a note taker.
Yeah, she's a big note taker. Now we go. Now we're changing to Wednesday, October 29th. So we're getting really close here, right? We're
Approaching.
You're right. We're at the Hill House. And Hank is in the kitchen with Bobby, and he's like, boy, I sure am glad your grandma kept my old costume. And then he goes over to Bobby, and he's wearing this literal outfit.
Yeah, same outfit.
He
stole it.
You know, I used to have a laugh that went along with this. Try it with me, son. He goes, ha, 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 you know, like this real, like, devil laugh. And then Bobby laughs, and he's like, you know, it's just a terrible laugh.
Not as good as Hank's.
Yeah, he looks at both his mom and dad and says, scary? He goes, it was disturbing. Luann runs in.
Which that's Halloween. It doesn't have to be scary.
It doesn't have to be scary. It just needs to be disturbing.
It just needs to make people feel unsettled.
Thus turnips.
Yeah.
Luann runs in and says, Uncle Hank, Aunt Peggy, I have terrible news. Halloween is a satanic holiday. It was invented by the Druish.
The Druish?
Yeah.
Is that like Jewish Druids?
It's Jewish Druids.
Ashkenazi Druids?
Peggy says, no, honey, not Druish, the Druids. He goes, where'd you hear that garbage? She goes, it's the truth. Trick-or-treating is devil worship. Judy Harper says so. Hank's starting to, it's getting his ire, right? I mean,
he's getting pissed.
He doesn't like when you go off from like the way things have always been.
Halloween has always been.
Halloween's always been scary.
Yeah.
It's always been you knock your own mailbox over. He goes, Luann, Halloween is just good, clean fun. It's got nothing to do with the devil. And the funny thing is, it goes over to Bobby, and he's like looking at his outfit.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't want to hear any more of your foolishness. And so Luann leaves crying. Peggy, talking to Hank, says, well, what is wrong with you? She put some exciting new thing in her brain, and all she wanted to do was show it to us.
That was it.
I love that. I love that. Absolutely love that. All right, now we're at Jimmy Harper's. Luann is
so
there.
Innocent, you know?
Yes. Luann is there at the table with some coffee, and they're going over, I don't know how they're going to handle Halloween. Judy Harper says, so you told him about the Druids and the candy corn, and he still thinks Halloween is just fun? She goes, that's so stupid. He goes, oh no, first of all.
Who invented candy corn? Do you know anything about candy corn
No,
itself?
I don't
No.
know candy corn.
We should do a podcast episode about candy corn.
Yeah, let's do that. She says, in the eyes of the Lord, you're a genius. She says, the devil fools you into thinking you're stupid because it makes it easier for him to trick you. But if you think you're smart, you can resist him. Do you see what I'm saying? She goes, I'm not sure. She goes, Satan! Bam, hits the table. She goes, be gone. Now you see? She goes, oh, yes. I don't know what difference that makes. You hit the table and that makes all the difference.
Be gone!
She goes, these days, Satan's getting very, very popular. That's why this Halloween, I'm sponsoring a Hallelujah house. Luann says, what's that? She goes, it's a righteous alternative to those wicked haunted houses. She goes, oh no, Uncle Hank is running a haunted house down at Bobby's school. She says, the school?
The infamous trunk or treats.
Tell me more. So, I told you I went to a Baptist high school.
You did tell me that.
Right.
Yeah.
We, as part of the church, we had one of these Hallelujah houses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was it hellish?
No, it was all Hallelujah.
No, the experience. Was the experience
Well,
hellish?
let me tell you what happened. They had this old house that somebody in the church had.
Yeah.
Right?
There's like, every church I've been to has a weird house that people live in.
Sure, I think it's a law. And then, so they set up the thing, and it honestly reminds me a lot of this. You know, abortion's bad, this is bad, that's bad, whatever.
It's all bad.
You go see all the bad things, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, you'll see in this, they have you try to sign a pledge or whatever, that you'll stay away from the bad stuff. Well, one of the things that happened is they wanted to bury a guy in the front yard, and then he would come up out of the ground and scare people.
Oh, wow.
Right? it was too much dirt and he almost died. So they
So they buried him.
They had a guy buried in the front
And he was
yard.
just like, couldn't
And
get
then
out.
At some point during
Wow.
the Hallelujah house, we all had to get in there and just dig him out.
That must have been horrible for
I
him.
bet he said hallelujah when
He did say hallelujah when
Hallelujah.
he came out. Yes, yes.
It kind of,
Can I make one really inappropriate joke?
Yeah, please do.
I don't know what
Okay, then don't do it. So now we're at Tom Landry Middle School gym. Hank and Dale are building a guillotine.
yes, they are.
So Hank says, let's get the rise and run of this thing right. I don't want any blood rushing to my severed head. Then Principal Moss, who, we don't have a Principal Moss yet, but we've got a couple of
We
the others.
don't. We have had 2 people.
So
turn
what
in
we're talking
voice
about
acting
is
stuff.
we've done a bunch of AI versions of these characters doing different podcasts, right? So we had Jimmy Witcher, he has one that's all about the eye in the sky, that kind of thing, you know, tinfoil hat stuff.
Yeah.
Then we had Principal Moss, who would come on and do the school announcements.
Like some
every
school
morning,
announcements,
Like 5 days
yeah.
a week, come on and do the school announcements. Well, what we did is we put out a call, and people on that end said, "Oh, I'd like to be that voice," and they've started sending in.
Yeah, which I'll go
auditions.
ahead and say it then,
Yeah,
since
please.
we are recording. If you do want to be a part of it, you do want to like submit a voice and submit some stuff for voices, go ahead and go to BWAAA KOTH, that's 3 A's, KOTH at gmail.com,
Three A's, no way.
and send us in your voice acting stuff, and it could be any King of the Hill character. We'll work something out. We're just looking for voices.
So Principal Moss and Judy Harper come in, and
Yep.
she is very worried about what's going on.
First
Yeah,
appearance,
please.
first appearance of Principal Moss.
This is the first Principal Moss.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
according
wow.
to Artie, which
Thank
is
you, Artie.
usually pretty right.
Appreciate that.
So I'll take his word for it on this one.
He comes in with Judy Harper, and Hank's like, "Hey, Principal Moss." He goes, "Hello, Hank." And then he looks at Dale, and Dale's in there smoking a cigarette in,
Yep.
in the middle school
In the middle school
gymnasium.
gymnasium, yes.
He goes, "Mr.
Perfect
Gribble,
place for a cigarette.
Mr. Gribble, this is a school. You have to take a cigarette outside." "Yes, sir." Jackass says, "What?" And he says, "What?" And then he just walks off laughing. It's the most-
Very Dale.
That's
looking,
not
man.
a joke.
Jack
Yeah.
says, "What?"
He goes, "Hank, you know Miss Judy Harper, she has some concerns. Apparently some people consider Halloween a religious holiday." Hank's like, "So?" She says, and then Judy speaks up, of course, because nobody's keeping her down. Says, "So our Constitution guarantees the separation of church and state." The principal says, "Miss Harper has a point, and an attorney." Boomhauer in the
That's all it
back.
takes, yeah.
Boomhauer in the back is working on a skeleton in a top hat. She looks at that and she goes, "What's a skeleton for? Planning to read fortunes, casting of bones?" He goes, "No." Then Bill pushes a wooden stand with a witch next, and she goes, "And what's that, a witch? That has got to go." This is enough for Hank at the point where he's like, "I'm not taking any of this stuff out. I want those kids to have a real scary Halloween." She says, "You know, I'm starting to feel like the whole idea of a house of horrors is wrong." Bill, he comes in and he's got just red paint dripping, right? Because I guess he's been painting blood on things.
Yeah, very
He goes,
menacing.
"Or we could make it a house of pancakes." Big pregnant pause, and he says, "I'm just brainstorming here." Hank.
Denny's is better.
Hank says Waffle House. Hank
Well,
says,
Waffle House is better than both of them. We don't have one though.
No, we don't.
We need one.
Yeah.
No, we don't need. We need
Every
one and we
community-
don't need one.
Every community needs one. Hank says, "Shut up, Bill. Look, we either do this haunted house the right way or I'm not doing it at all. Now, what's it going to be?" The Principal Moss says, "Hank, we can't afford another lawsuit. We blew our budget fighting wheelchair ramps and left-handed scissors." He goes, so that's how it is.
I thought-
Boomhauer, grab Hagatha. There's only room for one witch in here, and then Hank just storms out. I mean, that's about as pissed as you're going to get, Hank.
I'm a left-handed person,
Yeah.
and there is a website. I can't remember the name of the website, but you could buy. It's a website that sells nothing. Well, it doesn't really sell them. It aggregates all of it, and it sends you to Amazon links. But there is a uncanny amount of left-handed objects in the world that you could buy, from pencils, rulers.
Explain that to me. Explain a left-handed pencil to me.
Yeah, I mean, just hold a pencil in your left hand. It's a left-handed pencil. So they market it as a left-handed pencil. It just has an L on
Somebody
it.
screwed it.
It's just like socks. When they put an L or an R on socks, socks are going to fit on
Yeah.
both feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, not my feet, but yeah. All right, so now we're at the Hill Kitchen with Peggy and Luann. They're both doing dishes. Hank he's all riled up. He's over there drinking beer, talking about it. Next year, Bobby's going to be a teenager. It's our last Halloween together. Judy Harper ruined it. Peggy says, "There's nothing in the Constitution about separation of church and garage. Why don't you make a haunted garage?"
You can't do that.
He's like, "Yeah, I guess I could do that." Then, of course, Luann speaks up. "No, Uncle Hank, you could go to hell. See, Judy Harper says a haunted house is the devil's mousetrap and the fun is the cheese." That one's that on the shirt.
Yeah, you gotta get a shirt with that, yeah.
Devil's mousetrap and fun is the cheese. He goes, "Luann, just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking." That is rough.
That's tough.
That's rough right there.
But it's not the only time that he says something that rough to.
No.
I think he speaks to her the worst.
He does. She says, "Jimmy says I'm smart, so don't try to trick me into thinking I'm not." Peggy gets in the middle of this. She goes, "Now hold on, Luann is not stupid, and neither is Hank's idea for a haunted house. So you can have your haunted garage, and you can be smart." Talking to Luann.
So we have a nod here in
Yeah.
the chat. He said, "Can confirm the sock thing. I did work at a sock factory, and some of them were left or right. So they had two production streams, one for left sock and one for the right sock."
That's not a thing. Hank says, he goes, sorry, Peggy says, "You can be smart, he can have his haunted house." She goes, but Jimmy Harper says," Hank busts into that, "Jimmy Harper says, last time I checked, it wasn't Jimmy Harper's face on a stained glass window at Arlen First Methodist." And he storms out again. It's two storm outs by Hank in one episode, right? All right, so Bobby and Hank are now walking down the street. It's nighttime. He's trying to get Bobby into like the old-timey Halloween tradition.
Yeah.
Right? Like knocking
All the
down
old
their own
stuff.
pillbox, which I would never do.
TP, eggs.
He says, "Bobby, next Halloween you're going to be too old to dress up and get candy." He goes, "What?" Like that came as a real surprise to Bobby. He goes, "Now, don't panic. Treats are only half of the trick or treat." And then he gets to a house and pulls out some eggs and some toilet paper. Traditional Halloween.
Traditional Halloween.
Stuff. He goes, "It's time you learn to give as well as receive." He goes, "You're not going to throw that, are you?" He goes, "Bobby, of course I am. It's a sign of respect. You know, you could use a little respect right now." He goes, Dale could use a little respect." Then we see Judy Harper. She's come out onto her porch and she's calling for her cat. Her cat's missing.
Cat's gone.
Her cat, Joshua. So she's like, "Joshua, kitty, Joshua." And then
Hell of a
Hank,
name for a cat.
yeah, Hank looks over and he's like, "I'm suddenly reminded of a Bible quote. Do unto others." Well, I don't think it's a whole quote, but
Yeah, I think it's just
Bobby-
paraphrasing here.
Bobby says, "I don't know, Dad, this is vandalism. Vandalism isn't cool." So you know that was like grilled into him or pushed into him at school.
Yeah,
Vandalism
vandalism's
isn't cool.
not cool, Dad.
Hank's response to that, and this is Hank again. He's like, "Bobby, that attitude is a little immature. Now come on." And he starts throwing toilet paper. He throws it to him, and Bobby tries to chunk it, and it just kind of goes, "Whoop," and then it just rolls right back to him.
Yeah, he doesn't have an arm, he has zero athleticism, and he probably, not only can he not throw toilet paper, he can't throw a baseball, softball, basketball,
No.
football, anything with a ball in it.
No. He says, "You gotta have a backspin on it, son." And he shows him how to throw it, right? And so they start throwing toilet paper and all
You gotta
that
hold
stuff.
the thread and
Bobby, he throws it, and he throws it the right way, but he hits the birdhouse, knocks it right out of the tree, goes down on the ground, it's all busted up.
vandalism to the extreme here.
Judy Harper hears this, and she goes, "I'm not afraid of you, Satanist." And Hank's like, "Come on, boy." And so they start running away, and she goes, "I won't be afraid, I'll stand up to all of you." She gets into her car, and she starts backing out, because she's going to go after these terrible vandals.
Yep,
She runs over Joshua.
poor cat.
She kills the cat.
Rest in peace
Right?
to
Kills
Joshua.
the cat.
First and last time that Joshua appears in
That's
King of
right.
Logan.
Joshua was in it for a very short period of time. She backs out. She's chasing him down. Hank goes up over the fence. Bobby tries to get over the fence, can't.
He
She
can't really
pulls-
do much of anything
No.
physical. I don't know why he would even attempt. Like, if there were, like, what's really funny is I bet he went to jump over the fence, and if he would have went like 3 more feet, he probably could have just went around it.
Probably. But he's kind of like stuck on the fence. Hank
Stuck.
helps him down.
Yeah, very stuck.
They finally get away and they run around the corner, and then they see the cops come by. And Bobby's like, "Oh, what's the fuzz?" He goes, "Quick, ditch the evidence." And so they start throwing it away. They throw it. They just like chunk it all.
Yeah.
We then see a scene of Dale sitting in his underwear in the dark in his house, watching Sanford and Son. The only reason you know that is because of the music.
Yeah.
And this stuff hits the top of the house, and he's just like, ah! It hits the ground, and I mean, he's freaked out, right? Because all the crap hits his house. All right, so now we're at the Hill House, and the cops have come over there because Junie Harper saw Bobby. And so the first thing you hear is from Peggy. She goes, well, there must be some mistake. My Bobby? And the cop says, son, did you pay Mrs. Harper a little visit tonight? Bobby's finally like, yeah. After looking at Hank back and forth,
Yeah.
kind of being sheepish about it. She goes, Bobby! And Hank says, no, don't jump all over the boy. The truth is, this is my fault. Junie Harper, of course, standing next to the cop, says, well, of course it is. His antisocial behavior is a result of your whole family's anti-Christian values.
Ooh.
Yeah, Peggy says, you hold it right there, Junie Harper. You are out of order. I go to church too, and I've raffled and bingoed and bake sailed my way as close to the good Lord as you. So do not try to one-up me, because I will one-up yours.
And
That
she
is
has
the
a lawyer
greatest
too, though.
quote that Peggy has ever had.
But
Do
Junie's
not
got a
try to
lawyer.
one-up me, because I will one-up yours.
Well, she is. That's like Peggy. If anybody in the audience knows anything about Peggy, that is her whole shtick. Is she tries to one up everybody. So
She's a
if she
terrible
said,
person.
well, if you say, well, I read the entire Bible, she's read it 5 times.
Sure. So Junie comes back with the complacency of fools will destroy them, Proverbs. Hank, of course, says, get out of my house, Exodus.
Exodus.
So that's it.
There you go.
He's now putting Bobby to bed, and he's kind of whispering to Bobby. He's like, you're a regular Halloween hellraiser, just like your old man. Peggy walks by, and of course he goes, and I'm very disappointed in you. Right?
Yeah, it's the old, when my dad caught me smoking cigarettes when I was younger, he was like, oh, just don't let your mom or your brother and sister see, kind of thing.
My dad saw me with all the holes all over my shirts and said, are you smoking nothing? No. Oh, okay, great.
My dad actually went digging through my room, and there was like this little attic space, and I would hide my cigarettes.
Mhm.
I would push the little thing out the way, and I would hide my cigarettes there. He found cigarettes and a bag of seeds and stems.
My dad put down his pipe and asked me if I'd been smoking. So,
Yeah, he sat there and tapped his pipe out. You been smoking there, son?
smoking,
You been
kid?
smoking, bud? You been smoking a pancake?
say it again.
Did you?
Did I smoke?
Yeah, did you use the pipe?
Did I use a pipe?
His pipe, yeah. did you?
No. I'm saying he put his pipe down as he was smoking and asked me if I'd been
Yeah.
smoking.
Have you been
Like,
smoking?
wouldn't teach me a lesson.
Have
Did
you
I
been
say
smoking?
that's the first time I smoked?
No.
Oh, go
Tell
ahead.
me
Yeah,
the
tell
first
us,
time you
Mason.
smoked.
Okay. Statute of limitations should have passed already.
I don't think there is such a thing, but go ahead.
I was working at Domino's. It was fun, but I hated it. It was my senior year. And I just got off my shift, and my stepmom started smoking again at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm just watching me do it. I always kind of wanted to.
You always kind of wanted to smoke?
Yeah, well.
Set that bar high, Mason.
No, but I wanted to look cool,
Yeah, I get you.
wanted to
Sure.
look
Yeah,
cool and stuff,
understood.
I wanted to make it look cool.
Right.
And so, I just, see her do it, and I was kind of passed by smell, I think I was either 17 or about to be 18.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lot older than I was. I was 8, and we used to steal packs of cigarettes from my friend's mom, and we'd go in the backyard, and we would take like 2 hits, and we'd be so sick. And then we'd go back the next weekend, and we'd take another, and we'd be so sick, and then eventually we
That'll do it.
got
Turn you
addicted
green.
to them. Yeah, we got addicted to them doing it.
So-
So you would have failed probably.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
I smoked 3 packs a day for like
I did at one point.
15, 20 years.
When I was doing construction,
Long
I
time.
smoked a
Too
lot.
much.
I took one hit and I threw it up.
There you go.
Yeah, it'll do it.
Taught you a lesson.
Nicotine,
Thursday, October
nicotine
30th
rushes.
is now where we're at. Bobby and Hank are driving by. They drive by Junie's house, and she's taking the toilet paper out of the trees. We also see what is one of the saddest things ever is these 2 birds are trying to get into the smash bird house.
Yeah,
Smacking their head on
it's kind of sad. That seems kind of
it.
like
It is. It's very sad.
their habitat has been destroyed. Their
Bobby-
eggs are crushed.
Bobby says, "I'll never use toilet paper in anger again." That's
That's a good quote.
Yeah, I like that. That's another shirt. Later in Bobby's room, Lou Ann's coming by, and she's like, "Are you all right? I didn't hear the TV on a little bit too." He goes, "I grounded myself. I don't deserve to watch TV after what I did last night." She goes, "It's not your fault. It's Uncle Hank's fault. He's a Satanist, Bobby." I mean, she's made a huge leap.
Hugely,
Hank is a Satanist.
which is about as far away from the description of Hank as you could get.
Bobby says, "Come on, Lou Ann, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard." She goes, "It's true." He goes, "Oh, dang." That's all he needed was, "It's true."
Oh,
He says,
dang.
"Oh, dang."
Oh, dang.
She goes, that's why Uncle Hank smirched my ideas about Halloween. Smirched. The devil doesn't want you to know the truth. Did your father ever make you drink blood? He said, he made me eat liver once. She goes, well, there you go. That's a recovered memory. Think, Bobby, what else can you remember? Then he has this flashback. He sees Megalomart, where Hank's going, where are all the vampires and monsters and ghosts? And then it gets a little worse, where he sees Hank in kind of this reddish hue, and he goes, you're a regular hellraiser, just like your old man. And then
Because of that, it's the infamous scene of Hank going,
Yeah.
"Rah!"
The last one is Hank trying to give him liver on a cracker. And he goes, it's just liver, it's not going to kill you. And then it's like, ha ha, and you see flames and the whole thing. Next thing we see is we are at Arlen City Hall. So there's a city council meeting going on. Dale is standing up, of course, in front of the city council. I can't imagine.
Which shows you how small this town is because the town is meeting to cancel Halloween.
Absolutely. He goes, the vandalism upon my house can only be described as a hate crime. Somebody hates me. The city council member says, let the record show that somebody hates Dale Gribble.
That's not the definition of hate crime, is it?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Junie Harper comes up and says, last time my house was also attacked by Satanists. The same council member says, Miss Harper, what evidence do you have of that? She goes, what evidence? How about this? She dumps the dead cat out on the table. Everybody freaks out.
Which is the cat that she killed, by the way, so she's
right.
gaslighting the whole room.
That's exactly right.
Propane and propane only.
Now we go over to the Hill House again. Hank is hanging up his banner that says Hank Hell's Haunted House on the banner. Right?
Hank Hell. I like it.
It's
I like it.
pretty snappy. Peggy says, well, I think it's perfect, although I still think Hank Heck works just as well. No, it really doesn't. Luann comes out, she goes, yes, Halloween is canceled. I just got off the phone with Miss Junie Harper. She said the city council passed a curfew because the Satanists made her run over her cat.
She ran over her cat, now she's trying to blame it on somebody else.
Hank says, what about the trick-or-treaters? She goes, there won't be any trick-or-treaters. See, Uncle Hank, you were wrong. You said I was wrong, but now everyone agrees with me. He goes, nobody agrees with you. You agree with everybody else. You agree with any idiot who says anything. I mean, he's
going in on her on this one. But he is kind of right, because we just covered an episode in season 6 where she gets strung up into a cult of a bunch of women named Jane.
I don't know how Satan does this. This zipper
is
really
it tough?
funny. Yeah.
I imagine he has a better tailor.
Probably. So she goes, stop attacking her, Hank. Luann didn't cancel Halloween. Junie Harper did. Bobby's in the background just kind of riding around on his bike.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't care what she does. Tomorrow night I'm going to teach Bobby the true meaning of Halloween. Come hell or high water. They go inside. Bobby comes up to Luann. He goes, my dad sure wants me to be at that haunted house. Last time he wanted me to be somewhere so bad I woke up without tonsils. She goes, this time he may be after your soul. He goes, I'm scared, Luann. She goes, I can't help you, Bobby, but I know who can. And then she looks up at the light pole, and it looks like a cross. And we see the banner with Junie Harper and her Hallelujah House on it. And she goes, Miss Junie Harper. Now we go over to Friday, October 31st. This is, of course, Halloween night. We see the streets are completely empty. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's like tumbleweeds going down the street.
And it's weird, like, it's like going in, like, crappy neighborhoods on Halloween. There's nobody ever, like, I grew up in a not, like, great Halloween neighborhood. There's no, we had, like, one trick-or-treater in, like, 20 years.
Our neighborhood, they dump off, like a million kids. Which, I'm not griping, because I really enjoy the idea of sitting out there and just making fun.
We go to rich neighborhoods for Halloween now, or so we don't drop them off, but we go with them to like neighborhoods of Robinson and stuff.
So we are. It's now Halloween night. Like I say, the streets are really empty.
Halloween night.
Luann drives Bobby up to the Hallelujah House, which, by the way, it says Hallelujah House, $5, a Hallelujah Incorporated production.
Oh, wow, so they.
This lady's been thinking about this, right?
Well, they said she had lawyers, so she doesn't just have lawyers; she has corporate lawyers. They're Jewish.
Yeah, they're Jewish. Bobby says, thanks for helping me get away. I heard Satanists, like my dad, always like to sacrifice virgins, so we both be very, very careful.
Yeah,
Luann's like, now, we're back at Hank's house, and he's got the banner up for Hank's Hell House.
Yep.
He's like, where is everybody? I can't believe they're all staying home because of a curfew. Where the heck is Bobby? Peggy says, well, he's still out with Luann. I sent him to the store for more high C. Now, I guess that was a fool's errand.
I think the only curfew on Halloween should be for pedophiles.
Well, they should probably have a curfew.
They do though. They have to go to like the probation office, and says
Sure.
probation office.
Sure. Yeah.
They're gonna have to build more buildings.
Okay.
There's a high population of St. Paul's in the area, that's all I'm saying.
Hank says, isn't there one person in this town with the courage to celebrate Halloween? Dale on a bullhorn from inside his house says, Hank, while you're out there, turn off my hose. We're now at the Hallelujah House. Judy Harper is dressed like an angel. She's welcoming in all these kids. She goes, first of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody. She thinks that's super funny.
Yeah.
Now follow me, children. No pushing. He who is last is first. Then she leads all
That's
the
such
kids.
an odd saying.
Yeah.
He who is last is first. I don't even, what does that even mean?
I don't know, it's fine. So she leads all the kids in the house, and then they're going from room to room. And like I talked about, this is a Hallelujah house where things are bad, right? You're supposed to look at it and go, oh my God, I can't let that happen. So the first thing we see is a couple of kids on a park bench, middle of the night. They're sitting there, and she goes, what do we have here? It's a young unmarried couple who are about to let their hormones get the best of them. And she spins the whole thing around. I mean, this is a huge production.
Huge.
She spins the whole thing around, and it's a board! And they're both of their feet are hanging there with toe tags on them. And she goes, I guess the old saying, sex kills. Then they go to the next room. It's two people sitting at a table like for dinner, right? And the guy at the table says, dinner's ready. And then he goes, where's Grandpa? Grandpa comes in, but he's a big ape, right? So
Yeah.
a big ape comes in, and Junie says, that's your grandpa? He goes, haven't you heard our ancestors are monkeys?
That honestly is my favorite joke in the whole show, is that ape costume.
The gorilla goes over to a baby doll that they have sitting there, and he starts picking it up and eating the baby doll.
Yeah.
And the lady sitting at the table, oh no, he's eating the baby. Stop him, honey.
Asinine.
He goes, oh, we can't. It's against the law to teach creationism. So that proves a point to all the kids. Now we go back to the Hill House. We're in.
I'm inspired.
Are you inspired? That's great. I'll drop you off. I'll drop you off at the Hallelujah House on the way home.
I've got a New Testament in the car for you.
We're back at the Hill House inside. Luann is on the couch. Peggy comes in from outside, sitting there with Hank. She goes, have you seen Bobby? She goes, I think he said he was going to the gym. Well, everybody who's ever watched this show knows that's not true. He's not going to the gym.
Oh, Bobby going to a gym?
Yeah.
Nah.
Peggy's like, Luann. She goes, all right, I took him to Jimmy Hopper's. He's a lot better off there. She goes, what are you talking about? Well, I think it's better for a child to receive wholesome impressions from established religious authorities than participate in rituals that are conducted by people who don't know they are pawns of the devil. That is quite a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
She goes,
Sounds crazy.
she goes, little Missy, you hold it right there.
TLDR.
I have had it up to here with your baloney. I have taken you into my home. I have sheltered and fed you. If you step between my husband and his son, I will cast you out like yesterday's garbage.
Which is-
I mean, that is rough.
Which is rough.
Luann is she's broken up. She's starting to cry. She goes, from now on, you leave the parenting to us. We get a magazine about it. So, I mean, that proves it. Peggy goes back outside.
A to Z for parents.
She goes,
It's rough, but I mean,
well, she's got a point. She does have a point.
She does have a
Peggy
point.
probably should have noticed a lot earlier.
If you're a
but she's
guest
got
in
point.
somebody's house, you probably shouldn't be telling people who you're a guest of that they should do this and that with their kids.
Peggy comes back out. She's got an Alamo for Hank. She goes, here, I brought you a nice cold beer. He goes, thanks, Peggy. She hands him the Alamo. She goes, Luann took Bobby to Junie Harper's for an anti-Halloween church party. He goes, like, he's got all this beer in his mouth. He should have done a spit take.
But he swallows it because even you just can't
Well,
waste beer. Man.
He said,
You can't waste.
he goes, I came very close to spitting out beer.
Yeah, I can't almost waste my beer, man.
She goes, I made me be upset. He goes, they wrecked my haunted house. They outlawed my trick-or-treating. And now they want to brainwash my boy. It's time for somebody to do something. Next thing we see is in front of Hank's house, there's cops patrolling the streets.
Yeah,
Hank has had enough.
police everywhere, which is kind of weird. It's really like dystopian.
Police, not police.
Police.
Hank comes out the front door. He is wearing this this very devil costume, but it was made for a small boy, so it's very, very small on him.
Yeah.
But he is standing up for what he believes in.
Yours is made for a big boy.
Mine's made for a big
He's
boy.
got his
I bought it in the
big- he's got his big boy
section.
costume
This is
on.
a husky devil costume.
There you go.
She said, she goes, Hank, no, you could go to jail. He goes, I knew the risk when I put on the uniform. The uniform.
The
This is his
uniform, which it is, right? He's about to.
He goes out into the street.
go into battle.
Yes, exactly. He goes out into the street and he's just like, trick or treat, trick or treat. I mean, he's just saying it as loud as he can.
Screaming it, yeah.
Boomhauer walks out and he's like, hey man, check it out, man. And he starts going in. He goes, I don't need dang old costume, man. I'm in a dang old mime because I'm like, you need a box, like a blood tug of war, man. And so they just keep going down the street.
Yeah.
They're yelling trick or treat. They keep marching down the street. Bill runs out in a sheet and he goes, here comes a ghost. And of course, he steps on the sheet, rips it. It's hanging down here, and so he just goes, Toga! Yeah. So they're all going down the street, trick or treat, trick or treat. Here comes Dale. He's in a three-piece suit. Of course, he's got his hat on and, and his cigarette. And he goes, boo, I'm a high-priced Washington lobbyist peddling influence. Who wants some candy? So they all joined forces. They're walking down the street, just trick or treat, trick or treat. Luann comes running out. She looks like Loki, right? She's got her hair all up in horns and stuff. But she comes out. She goes, Uncle Hank. I mean, she's crying. Uncle Hank, trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something to eat. He goes, come
Came
on.
to her senses.
Finally, he goes, come on, Luann. And so they're all marching down the street, just screaming trick or treat, trick or treat. All the neighbors start coming out, and so now
It's like an Eye of the Tiger moment.
well, it's
Eye of the Tiger.
like they're storming after Frankenstein, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's like all the villagers. or
All the
something.
villagers.
But they're all going down the street, and they're going straight to Junie Harper's house. We now go into the Hallelujah house, and we've got a couple of guys that in any other life they'd be used car salesmen, because they're sitting at card tables with these poor kids who have gone through the Hallelujah house, and like, all right, Susie, what's it going to take for you to join the Hallelujah Club tonight? Like he's trying to get her into a mid-sized dot.
I got 2 high C, drinks and a Snicker bar. What is it going to take?
The other guy talking to a different kid, he goes, look, you took the brownie, I didn't make you take the brownie. So he's trying to get him to sign the thing. Bobby, he signs the pledge. Right? He
Did he read the fine print?
Hallelujah Club pledge form.
He could have just signed his life away.
Junie comes up behind him, he's like, congratulations, Bobby. Hey, everybody, listen up. Bobby has joined the Hallelujah Club. And everybody's just like, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, Bobby. And Bobby looks at him, he's like, can I have another brownie? That's all he's worried about.
That's all he was worried about.
Outside, you start hearing trick or treat, trick or treat. We're hearing this coming up to our house. Junie says, I'll handle this. She goes out, she opens up the door to Hank in the devil suit, the rest of the people behind him, and she says, he goes, trick or treat. Hey, Bobby, because he's standing right behind her. He goes, go away, Satan. He goes, Bobby, it's just a costume. Junie says, there's a curfew in effect, Mr. Hill, but I guess you have no respect for man's law either. He goes, I've had enough of this nonsense. Come on, son, let's go trick or treat. She says, he will not, because he is a good boy. She's just like holding Bobby back.
Right? Which is crazy
Bobby's
step in
super
between
torn,
somebody and
though.
a kid.
Yeah, Bobby's super torn, like he's looking back and forth.
Yeah, he knows what he wants. He wants a brownie, but he also wants candy.
But he also wants candy. He goes, all right, Bobby, I don't want to force you to come. I just want to spend Halloween with my son.
Which I was going to say, this trope right here is like the angel sitting on your left shoulder and the devil sitting on your right shoulder kind of thing.
He goes, he says, I guess I can't do it this year. It just tears my heart out. He goes, oh, and he pulls out a fake heart. All the kids start laughing. They think that's very funny. Junie's like, oh, what do you think you're doing? The kids are laughing and laughing. He goes, oh, I'm just keeping an eye out for my son. And he pops an egg out of his head, like,
Yeah, like an eyeball. Yeah, the eyeball trick with an egg.
That
Egg eyeball trick,
He goes, oh, mercy, what have I done? The kids are laughing and laughing. Junie, of course, at this point knows that the tide's starting to turn. She's, do not encourage this monster. This is vile. He goes, come on, Bobby. Halloween is just no fun without you. Bobby kind of steps forward. Junie says to him, Bobby, if you leave now, you'll never get a key to the kingdom. He goes,
never.
He goes, come on, son, let's get some candy. She goes, you'll go to hell. He goes, you'll get candy. She goes, hell. He goes, candy. And they go back and forth for a little bit. Bobby finally is just like, stop. Candy. I don't care about candy. I just want to be with my dad. I mean, it's like super touching, right?
He just want to be with his pop.
Yeah. Hank says, all right then. And they both leave
That's
together.
cute.
All the kids take their cue from this. They start leaving too. Junie's left on her front porch. She goes, fine, go on, all of you. More room in heaven for me. Hank says, you know, we got to get you home and scare you up a costume. It's
Scary
quite
up
words,
the
right?
costume. Yeah, I like that.
Bobby's biggest point, though. Okay. Hey,
How much
Dad.
time is left in Halloween to go trick or treating? They've done.
Yeah, it's not a ton.
They did. It's got to be like close to 1 a.m.
not a
right now.
But Bobby's biggest point, and this is how this thing ends. He says, okay, hey, Dad, I was just kidding before. I care about candy. I care a lot.
A lot.
And that is it. That's
the
it.
end of the
Everybody goes
episode.
up down the street. Happy Halloween. Credits roll. And that is it. So that is Halloween,
That's
which
Halloween.
is season 2, episode 4. It aired October 26, 1997.
Yep, and,
you want to tell people where they can find us?
Yeah,
if they
you
hear
can
about
find
us?
our previous recording of this episode on youtube.com/at
I think
BWAAA.
this one's better.
That's 3 A's. I don't
I bet
know.
this one's better.
I don't know. That might give it a run for its money for sure.
I wouldn't wear a costume in the first
BWAAAKOTH.
one.
No, you sure weren't. That's 3 A's, AAA,
Barely wearing one.
BWAAAKOTH. That's on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. But if you go to the YouTube, if y'all could go and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you'll get notifications for when we go live. We go live like mostly on Saturdays.
It's so very dark in here.
It is a dark room.
It's a very dark room.
Didn't you?
But yeah, we appreciate everybody listening.
Mason, last word.
Oh, Rick, I was gonna ask you guys your favorite Halloween candy.
All right, favorite Halloween what?
Candy.
Oh, favorite Halloween candy?
As a kid.
I was
The free
like-
kind.
What?
The free kind.
Oh, well.
I just like all candy, so there wasn't one. The only one I really don't really like is
You know what I-
Chico sticks.
You know
That's
what
a
I really,
non-committal answer, Russell.
the one I really enjoyed, anytime you could get them, and this wasn't just necessarily a Halloween thing, but where those little,
Before you answer, is this a thing people can still purchase in 2024?
yeah.
Okay.
If you go to where they sell the candy cigarettes, they still have these. They're the little wax bottles full
Oh,
of
yeah.
liquid.
I know what you're talking about.
So what I used to do is I would buy those, and I would drink all the stuff out of them, and I would take all the wax and I would put it in the microwave and melt it down and make a big blob out of it, and then I would make like figures and skulls
Yeah.
and stuff out of it.
Yeah, there you go.
I had a job at one point where I would do that. That's how busy I was with this job. I would take those things and I would form them into little skulls, and I would paint them with.
I thought you said you had a job doing that.
Where I would paint them with whiteout. Right? I was very creative.
That is creative.
They really had nothing to do in the 30s.
I worked at a beta store, Mason. It was beta only. I had a lot of time on my hands.
I can imagine
It
so.
was either drink those things and make skulls in the microwave or get drunk, one or the other. So
And
it was,
Russell,
Went ahead and
it was
did
both.
both. Went ahead and did both.
Russell, you're not signing off until I get a committed answer.
Yeah, what's your favorite candy?
Oh, favorite candy?
Halloween candy.
Favorite
That's
Halloween
different from
candy?
regular candy.
I guess the
Chocolate covered cherries.
I like
Thank you, sir.
generally the neighborhoods that give out full size candies. So I mean, I guess like a Crunch Bar.
Snickers.
I like Crunch Bar. I like Snickers, but I
Snickers
actually
have a weight to
I
it.
actually manufactured Snickers,
Yeah.
and I used to run the machines that I used to cook Snickers for a living. So
I
I'm
like that
good
story
on
'cause I know
Snickers.
you.
Yeah, I'm good on Snickers. I'm good.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining us. I guess here.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody on
We
YouTube.
really appreciate it, and thank you to our gigantic audience we have here. Join us next time, and just one thing left to say.
We Matanya.
Women time, indeed. That's it. Music.
That's it. Bow, 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 bow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was quick, yeah. It was actually 57 minutes. I appreciate everybody on YouTube for checking us out, y'all. Hell yeah. Take it easy, guys. I gotta figure out how to stop this. At one point, we had like 15 people.